First Corinthians for the homeschoolers is before Second Corinthians. Capítulo 9, chapter 9. Si no sabías, el capítulo es the big number in your Bible. Y luego el versículo son los números pequeños. Let's look at that together, okay? Versículo 24 al 27, Primera de Corintios 9, 24 y 27. Praying for you guys this morning and asking God to help us, que nos ayude. How many like sports? I think la mayoría de los muchachos like sports. Está diciendo el hermano Efraín, ¿es it Efraín? No. No, the chaperone. The one that's helping us? Okay. Yeah. That there's a sport ahora que it's with balloons. You got it. It's crazy, man. And but I like sports. As a kid who played soccer and basketball in los callejones in the alleys. We grew up in the city. So our basketball hoop, nuestra canasta de basketball was a milk carton. You know, the blue ones or the black ones, donde 4 galones de leche, you cut out the bottom and it's a square. And y lo clavas and you nail it to the telephone pole in the alley. That was our basketball hoop. And so the basketball, you know, in el callejón there's always glass and just all kind of stuff. So, but we played basketball and we always told our friends, siempre decíamos, nobody dunk, don't dunk. Because the first person to dunk, boom, se la traían. And there was always one that wanted to dunk. Back in the 90s, that's when Michael Jordan estaba calientito. And by the way, just let's settle it. Michael Jordan is the GOAT. Okay, just sorry, guys. Sorry. There's no debate. Any LeBron fans here? Oh, man. Who's Jesse? We're going to throw him in the lake. Efraín is a LeBron? Al lago con él. And throw him in the lake. And Messi is better than Ronaldo, just by the way. Anybody disagree? Anybody thinks Ronaldo's better? Al agua también ustedes. You guys are going to the water. We're bringing back the peanut. We're going to go get the peanut. But, so God, muchas veces Dios escogió ilustraciones to help us understand. Y aquí vamos a mirar, vamos a estudiar la Biblia for a little bit, pero por through the eyes of sports. Okay? So if you understand sports, you'll be able to understand the Bible. Okay? If you understand sports, you'll be able to understand this part of the Bible, esta parte de la Biblia. So, noten lo que dice, verse 24, dice la Biblia ahí, no sabéis que los que corren en el estadio. This is not soccer, it's not basketball, it's not football, it's track. It's a stadium. Okay? No sabéis que los que corren, these are runners, en el estadio, todos a la verdad corren, pero uno solo se lleva el premio. There's only one winner. Corred de tal manera que lo obtengáis. And then it talks about wrestling. Any wrestlers? Anybody wrestled in high school, middle school? No con tus amigos, not with your brothers at home, like on a team. No wrestlers? No? Okay, good. And watch this. Todo aquel que lucha, de todos se abstiene. So first we have runners in verse 24, versículo 24, and then we have wrestlers, luchadores, en versículo 25. De todos se abstienen. I'm going to teach you what that word abstiene means here in a minute, if you stay awake. Ellos a la verdad para recibir una corona corruptible, pero nosotros una incorruptible. Now, Paul goes back in verse 26 again to running, correr. And I've never ran. I'm not a runner. But the only time I ran was when I ran from dogs or anything like that. But I don't understand people who will run just for fun. It just doesn't seem fun. You're going to run for fun. Like there's Xbox, PlayStation. You could do other things for fun. You know, you don't have to run. And in my city, cuando miramos a alguien correr, there was usually a cop behind them. That's the only time you saw people run. You didn't see people run for nothing. Now watch this. Yo de esta manera corro, verse 26. No como a la aventura. And de esta manera peleo. So it goes back and forth between running and fighting. No como quien golpea el aire, sino que golpeo mi cuerpo. He talks about beating his body. And we're going to learn that it's not literal hitting yourself, but we'll look at that. Y lo pongo en servidumbre, no sea que habiendo sido heraldo para otros, yo mismo venga a ser eliminado. Disqualified. Disqualified. If you remember when Mike Tyson fought against Evander Holyfield, and some of you might, a lo mejor han visto the YouTube clips que le mordió la oreja, he bit his ear. Estaba peleando Mike Tyson, he was losing. Mike Tyson he was a good boxer. El que va a pelear ahora con Jake Paul, the guy that's going to go, it's just a joke, by the way. It's an insult to boxing. Pero Mike Tyson estaba perdiendo. Mike Tyson wasn't used to losing. So when they're in the clinch, están abrazados y le pegó una mordida and he bit him. Y lo mordió. And the referee, Lane, se apellidaba un güero peloncito, Mills Lane. And then again, unos rounds después, otra vez se le pegó, and this time he bit a chunk of his ear off. I mean, literally. Y lo escupió. And you could see the piece of ear on the floor. Ahí. And hasta este día, if you look at Evander Holyfield's ear, he's missing a piece of his ear. Well, you know what happened? He was disqualified. Lo descalificaron. Because every sport has rules. If you don't play by the rules, you get what? Disqualified. I was a referee for soccer for many years, muchos años, and we have two cards. We have a yellow card and we have a red card. Okay? You get two yellow cards, you know what happens? You get a red card. You know what happens? You get a red card? You're out. You're done. That means you broke the rules. Y jóvenes, de la misma manera, life has rules. Life has rules, right? Life is like a race. La Biblia dice que la vida es como it's a competition, it's a race. And you break the rules, guess what happens? You get disqualified. What do you mean by disqualified? Well, your life means almost nothing. You missed the purpose. You don't win the race. No terminas. And I remember one time I was a goalie in soccer, and I was playing defense, and I always wanted to be a goalie, and the forward came, and he popped it over the goalie's head, la voló así, over the goalie's head, y yo corrí, and I forgot. I mean, in my mind, I was a goalie, but I was a defense. Y me tiré, and I blocked it with my hand. I hit it out. It was going, and I hit it out. I saved the goal, but being a referee, he said, you're disqualified. You broke the rule. You got to go. In all the years I refereed soccer, maybe I give 2 red cards. Not many. Because the kids, Mexican kids, Somali kids, they play rough soccer, mean soccer. White kids, they always obey the rules. It's different, man. And but joven, we don't want your life to be disqualified. We don't want your life to be disqualified. And so Pablo nos va a enseñar, he's going to teach us in the Bible what rules we have to follow to make it and to win it all. To win it all. In Berkeley, California, 1948, there was a church que la iban a demoler. They were going to knock it down. They were going to bulldoze it. You know, they were going to knock it down. Iban a hacer unas casas. Pero antes de tumbar la iglesia, they went in y encontraron una time capsule, una caja. It was a time capsule. Ahora no es como Back to the Future, pero era una caja que alguien años atrás escondió. Y cuando sacaron esa caja, la abrieron. And you know what they found in ella? They found a Bible, una Biblia, old Bible. Y encontraron varios panfletos. They found a lot of pamphlets, brochures, acerca que hablaba en contra de tomar, en contra de la cerveza, en contra del trago social. Y esa iglesia tenía a really strong stance. Tenía una posición muy fuerte. Decían, we're against drinking and we're against gambling and we're against all of these brochures. Pero qué interesante, watch this, que about 50 years later, 50 años después, la iglesia se cerró y la van a tumbar. They're going to bulldoze it. And it's not there anymore. So you ask yourself the question, what happens? What happens? ¿Qué pasó from a church that was strong y tenía una posición fuerte? What happens? Ahora de repente it's not there. Well, the answer is this, jóvenes. They cheated. They cheated. They stopped using discipline. Discipline means this, okay? Self-control. Self-control. And if you're not going to get anything else from this, just remember this. It's important that we exercise, que ejercitamos self-control. Self-control. There's rules on the road for a reason. La carretera, when it says 70 miles an hour, it's a reason they're there. Ahora, algunos dicen, oh, esa regla está ahí para controlarme. No, it's really there to protect you. It's there to protect you. Listen to me, jóvenes. Your parents, watch me, look at me, mírame. Tus padres no son tus enemigos. I know sometimes when you're young, you think they are. Oh, me dicen qué hacer y qué no hacer y a qué horas llegar y a qué horas me tengo que dormir, and they're always checking my phone y con quién estás hablando y por qué no hiciste tu tarea. They're always on my case. Sabes que lo hacen because they're your friends. They want the best for you. Quieren lo mejor para ti. Y si no seguimos las reglas, we get disqualified. Si una persona come Takis and Coca-Cola todos los días for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, ¿sabes qué? Yo no creo que van a vivir past 40. They're going to die. They're going to have health problems, problemas de salud. They're not going to make it. Eso cuando tu mamá te dice, cómete la zanahoria, cómete el apio, cómete el caldo, cómete eso. Oh, I don't want it. It's para tu bien. It's for your good. Jóvenes, listen, there's rules in life. Hay reglas en la vida. Hay reglas. Now, listen, let's move on. La disciplina espiritual is self-control. Self-control. Look at verse 24, please. Versículo 24 en tus Biblias. Self-control. What is the purpose of discipline? ¿Por qué tenemos que tener disciplina? Look at verse number 24. ¿No sabéis que todos corren en el estadio? Everybody runs. There's a lot of runners. You with me, jóvenes? A lot of people start running. Muchos corren. Pero watch this. Todos a la verdad corren, pero uno solo se lleva el premio. La razón que necesitamos disciplina es para correr la carrera, to run the race. To run the race. Do you know cuánto pesa una bicicleta? I'm old, so Armstrong, Lance Armstrong. ¿Alguien recuerda? He's, is it Lance Armstrong? The cyclist? Yeah, Lance Armstrong. And do you know cuánto pesa una bicicleta? No de la Walmart, no como la tuya y la mía. Those are like 20 pounds, man. You fall, se te va a matar. But las bicicletas from the athletes, they're less than 2 pounds. Aluminum. And they don't even carry an extra water bottle. ¿Tú has visto they're cycling y viene un carro next y le da? They don't even have 2 water bottles because every ounce, cada onza, it's gonna hurt them from running their race. They don't carry extra weight. Y la Biblia está diciendo, la razón que tú necesitas usar disciplina personal es because you're running a race. You're running a race. Tu vida es una carrera. Aquí empezaste, and this is where God wants you to get. He wants you to have a wife. He wants you to have kids. He wants you to have your house. Quiere que le sirvas en alguna manera. And he's saying, if you're going to make it from here to there, you're going to have what? Self-control. Self-control. Si no lo tienes, no vas a ganar. Eso, estos aletas, their helmet que usan. And I said, there's spandex, de los chorecitos ahí. Even swimmers. You ever see a swimmer? Did you know que even swimmers, they have to shave their legs? I wouldn't be a swimmer just because of that. I want to shave my legs. Pero Michael Phelps, we all know Michael Phelps. Probably the best swimmer. They have to shave their legs. ¿Por qué? Because ellos creen que aún your hairs on your leg, they trap oxygen. And it's true. Get in the bathtub, you're going to see little bubbles coming out. That's not because you're farting. That's because those are big bubbles. Your hair, they trap oxygen. They trap oxygen. Next time you go to the ocean and you go in or a lake and there's little fish, they're going to come. They're going to nip at your legs. You know what they're doing? They're nipping at your hairs because there's oxygen trapped in there. So the swimmers, they say, but we have to shave our legs, and they put on these caps. Why? Because in their mind, their hair slows them down. And they want to win. Quieren ganar. So they have to eliminate cualquier cosa that's going to slow them down. Anything that que los va a parar. And so the Bible says, you know why you need self-discipline? Como joven, porque tienes que tener cuidado con tus amistades, porque tienes que tener cuidado de la música que escuchas. Do you know why? Because you're running a race. You're running a race. O sea, tú, joven, listen, you can't expect to make it far in life si te estás juntando con gente that are losers. Think about that. Si yo quiero ser un scientist, ¿sabes con qué me voy a juntar? With people that are good at math. Si yo me junto con losers y pandilleros, you know what that says? That's what I want to be. Eso quiero ser. I'm sorry. En la UFC había if you go on YouTube and you Google it, his name is Miguel Torres. Miguel Torres llegó a ser campeón en la UFC. He was my neighbor. Vivía como a 5 casas down the street from me. In East Chicago, we had 2 champions, by the way. Uno que se llama El Diablo, Angel Man Freddy. Boxing, and Miguel Torres was the UFC. Miguel Torres and we played soccer together in high school. Y él corría, I kid you not, I went one time with him. Corría de nuestra casa, crossing Columbus Drive, cruzando el puente all the way to the high school. Maybe about 8 miles and back. He was one of the only ones. Listen, uno de los pocos que corría eso. Los demás llegaban al estado. We would run laps around things. He would always do extra. When I would go to Minnesota, yo llegué a Minnesota y después escuché que Miguel Torres is the UFC lightweight champion of the world. Tremendas peleas. You know what? I was not surprised. Because yo conocía his work ethic. There's no surprise que es campeón. Pero si hubiera habido un muchacho that, eating, junk food and just, not waking up at 10 in the morning y luego acostándose a las 3 de la mañana y me dijeran, he's gonna run a 10-mile marathon, diría, you're crazy. No va a durar. Jóvenes, listen, all I'm trying to tell you this morning, lo que te quiero decir esto, that you have to use discipline. You have to use discipline. ¿Por qué? Because you're running a race. Estás corriendo una carrera. And then secondly, you need discipline because you want to win. ¿Quieres ganar? You want to win. Listen, I never went into a soccer game saying, well, today I want to lose. Now, sometimes we knew we were going to lose. We just knew it. It was just a matter of how bad. Pero algo en nosotros, something has always said, we're going to win. En la iglesia tenemos un equipo de softball. We have a softball team. And the first years, see, Mexicans in softball, they don't mix. Mexicans in soccer, yes. Mexicans in boxing, yes. Mexicans in landscaping, perfect. Mexicans in hanging drywall, they can't touch us. Mexicans in softball, I kid you not. The first practice, los hermanos de la iglesia agarraban el bate. ¿Y cómo se agarra? ¿Cómo se para uno? ¿Cómo se pone el guante? They're putting the glove on the I'm like, oh man. It reminded me of the movie of The Big Green. Little rascals there. And man, jugábamos con equipos de americanos. We played American teams. There was a league of 18 different teams. 18 equipos, all Baptist churches. But a lot of these white guys, they've been playing T-ball when they were like 4 years old. So they were good, man. They were good. Los daban unas, we would get humiliated. The first year, played 18 games. You know how many we won? 0. The score was always like 41-2. That's true, man. We just knew we were going to lose. We knew it. And it took us 2 years to win one game. I remember we won one game in 2 years. Y cuando ganamos ese juego, it was like we won the World Series. We were so excited, man. We were so excited. Hacíamos carne asada. We had a party. We won the first game in 2 years. We were bad. And we were bad. And one guy hit the ball, and instead of running to first base, he ran to third base. God, you got to go to first before you go to third. That's how bad we were. Now we're a little bit better. Last year we won like 8 out of 14. So we're getting there. But you know what I'm saying, jóvenes? We want to win. Let me ask you a question. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? ¿Dónde te ves en 10 años? Listen, if you want to win, you have to use discipline. Can I have one, please? Thank you, man. Yeah. If you want to win, you have to use discipline. Tienes que usar disciplina. You have to use discipline. I was in college, and vieron una muchacha. Her name was Anna Blanchett. And I'll say her name because usted no la conocen, you never will. You never know who she is. And it's a true story. I'm 17 years old, and my son Johnny knows this story. And I'm driving. Ella se arrima. She comes up to the car. And she was a pretty girl. And she lifts up her blouse, se levanta la blusa up to here. You see her stomach. Y me dice, do you want to see more? Now I got your attention, right? Now you guys are listening. You're perverts. You guys have been sleeping all day. Hey, even he woke up over there. You say, what happened? Listen, I'm going somewhere. I'm teaching you something. I'm trying to make it very, very practical. Very, very practical. And she said, you want to see more? And of course, nothing happened. She was just blushing, whatever. But about 6 months later, se fue con un muchacho del colegio, hijo de un pastor that was studying. The pastor was from Illinois, and they ran off. Se lo llevó. Another girl in Haines City, Florida. Allison se llamaba ella. I told you el otro día, I worked at Best Western from 10 at night to 2 in the morning. Ella trabajaba en otro hotel, a different hotel, from 10 at night to 2 in the morning. Y más de una vez me dijo, David, when you get off of work at your hotel, come to mine, 2 in the morning, come to mine, we'll get a room, nobody will ever know. He said, do you like girls? I married one. But something, listen, if I would have did it, I would have been disqualified from the race. Disqualified. Why? Because you broke the rules. You cheated. You cheated because sex. Everybody okay with that word? You know what it is. Don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. Sex is for after marriage. Listen, that's the rule. The rule is you get married and then you have sexual intercourse. When you have it before, you're cheating. And that's going to get you disqualified. And by the way, do you know what pornography is? Pornography, listen, escúchame bien. The purpose of pornography is to trick you into thinking that it's sexual. It stimulates the same hormones. I wish I could get into detail with you what happens when a kid watches pornography. Your brain releases all kinds of chemicals. It releases dopamine. You know what dopamine is? The same thing that drug addicts get. It's a sense of euphoria. It's a sense of relaxation. But then it releases a chemical that calms you. You've probably never seen anybody do drugs, but you've seen the video. Toman drogas, they take it, it relaxes, and then they just fall asleep. That's what sexual intercourse does inside of marriage. But the devil's a counterfeit. Rather than waiting until marriage to experience that, he says, I want you to experience it now through pornography. And boys, if you listen, some of you are watching it and you want to stop. The only way you're going to stop is you have to tell somebody. You have to tell somebody that you know they love you. Don't be, I know it's hard. I know it's really hard because, ¿qué van a pensar? It doesn't matter. Tell somebody. Really, this camp, before you leave, talk to Brother Carlos, talk to one of the guys, talk to myself. Say, Pastor, I watched it once, twice, I watch it once a week. It's so easy, it's on your phones. Nobody asks you, you don't have access to it. It's on tablets, it's everywhere. When I was a kid, si nosotros queríamos ver pornografía, we had to know somebody that had a magazine or that had a VHS tape, big old VHS tape. You couldn't hide it really, no lo puedes esconder. It was hard to get it. And then I remember the DVDs came out. Those were easier. And now it's at the push of your button phone. It's there. A lot of you guys are watching it. And I'm not trying to make you feel bad. Please, I'm not saying you're horrible, no. But I'm telling you, please get help because if you keep feeding it, it's a monster that grows. And it grows and it grows. And that's why it's going to ruin even how you look at a girl. You can't look at a girl because you're looking at her like a piece of meat instead of a person. Because you're feeding it so much. And what you have to do is you have to tell somebody, help me fight this battle because I can't fight it. I've tried to stop on my own. I broke my phone. I threw it away. But I can't stop because it's an addiction. And somebody has to help you. And how do we help you? We ask every week, how's it going? How's it going? How are we doing there? Did you memorize these verses? Are you fighting it? Let us help you fight it. Holiness, because if you don't, you know what's going to happen? You're going to get disqualified. You're going to get disqualified. And so Pablo dijo, I have to use self-discipline because I want to finish my race. Quiero ganar mi carrera. I want to finish my race. And so, jóvenes, if you're struggling with that, yo sé que muchos you are. I don't know who you are, but I know it's statistic-wise, it's proven that a lot of you guys are. Make sure and talk to somebody even as soon as we finish this chapel service here. Okay? And then look at let's keep looking at the verse here. Todo aquel que lucha, versículo 25, todo el que lucha de todo se abstiene. That word abstiene is to abstain, to keep distance. It means separation. Every wrestler, I don't know if you know this or not, pero cada luchador keeps a strict diet. Brian Shaw was the strongest man in the world. Anybody knows Brian Shaw is? Brian Shaw, yeah? He looks like me, así como yo, just a little bit bigger. Brian Shaw is a monster of a man. monster of a man. And Brian Shaw llegó a ser the strongest man in the world. He's an American from Colorado. I think he's Colorado. Y si tú, just go on Google next time, si tus papás te dan permiso, go on Google and type in Brian Shaw's diet. And they'll tell you every morning, cada mañana, at 4 in the morning, the alarm goes on, and they have to eat the same food. They weigh the calories, pesan las calorías, how many calories, and then they do this, and then they do that. They eat food they don't even like, but because they're trying to win. And so what I'm telling you is that you say, give them a donut. Oh, I can't have a donut. Why? Because the calories. And Nurmagomedov, this UFC, the guy's an animal. You know who he is. The guy's absolutely, he's probably the best in his weight division ever, I think there'll ever be. Khabib is his name, right? And you ever see what they go through when they're going to lose weight? They put on these sweat, right? And they lose up to 20 pounds. 20 pounds in one day to make weight. I told the people from my church that algunas hermanas fueron y compraron the sweat. Some of them went to heaven. But listen, they'll lose 20 pounds. Y yo miro un video, the guy literally passed out. He passed out. They get to the weigh-in, y se pesan, and literally they go back and they gain 20 pounds again. Para cuando van a la pelea, now they're a lot heavier. And I'm done with this, okay? This is what Paul is saying. Watch this. If athletes van a usar disciplina, self-discipline, what they eat, what time they go to bed, who their friends are. Do you know what a boxer does? He has a training camp. He has about 15 guys que 3 months before the fight, solamente con ellos. Es más, how many know this is true? A lot of times they'll go to another country, another state, just for training camp. They say bye to the wife, bye to the kids, bye to the family, y se van. They'll go to California, and they'll rent a house, rent una casa, they rent a chef, alguien que les cocine, y se alejan de todos because they want to focus on that battle. And this is what Pablo is saying. Si un atleta usa disciplina para ganar una corona de hojas, it was a wreath. ¿Cuánto más un cristiano debe usar disciplina para ganar la carrera que tiene por delante? How much more? Listen, how much are your kids worth, your wife, your family, your future? So these guys will work so hard, and then they get a trophy. And they say, I went to my mom's, a la casa de mamá, and I found one of my soccer trophies from 1994. 30 years ago. It's a soccer ball. It's about this big. I remember that trophy. I love that trophy. 30 years ago. And they say, people se esfuerzan. They work their whole life to get a trophy, a medal, a piece of ribbon in whether it's silver, gold, whatever it is. And the Bible is saying, con más razón, with more reason, un cristiano debe usar disciplina para acabar su carrera, to finish his race. These are the words of Joe Frazier. And I'm done with this. He said, champions aren't made in the ring. Watch this, jóvenes, please listen. We're done. You did a great job listening. Gracias. You did a wonderful, best you've done all week. Thank you. Champions aren't made in the ring. They're merely recognized there. And then he said this, what you cheat on in the early light of morning will show up in the ring under the bright lights. In this corner, heavyweight champion of the world, and all the lights and the cameras. Y Joe Frazier dijo, what you see here, lo que tú no miraste, what you didn't see, was all of the 4 o'clock mornings. And all of the work behind the scenes, all of that. He said, when you have all of that right, jóvenes, please, when you get all of the personal things right, then you'll be able to raise your hands in victory later on in life. But if you cheat where nobody sees you, if you cheat en lo privado, he said, you're not going to win when everybody's watching. So, jóvenes, I hope something in your mind clicked. Something. Si tú sigues como estás, you're not going to make it far. Some of you, listen, you got to go back and you got to tell some of your friends, no more, man. No more. No more. Because You know that what we're doing is wrong. And I don't want to end up in jail. I don't want to end up in the system. Yo no quiero terminar kicked out of school. I don't want to do that. So no more. Okay? You have to use discipline. Let's pray. Close your eyes, please. Bow your head. Hay tanto más. There's so much more to say about this jóvenes, but I really want you to think about this whole pornography thing. I want to go back to it. Y se requiere valentía. Listen to me. It takes real bravery for a young man to say, Pastor, pray for me. I'm also, te voy a decir algo, joven. This is your opportunity right now to be free. So nobody looking, okay? Nobody looking. This is a very important moment. Nobody looking. If you want me to, if you want help, si tú quieres ayuda, we love you and we want to help you, okay? But we need to know who you are. Necesitamos saber quién eres. We have to know. We can't help you if we don't know. Okay? So, would you raise your hand? Nobody's looking. I'm not going to call your name. I'm not going to call your name. I promise you. You're not going to, no vas a venir al frente. We're not going to embarrass you at all. And nobody's watching. If you just want us to pray for you and say, I'm struggling with this, I'm struggling with that. I tried to quit. I can't, it's hard. Pray for me, Pastor, Brother Carlos, chaperone. Would you raise your hand, Hoven, if that's you? Can I pray for you real quick? Just real quick, up and down, up and down, up and down. Don't be embarrassed. Nothing to be embarrassed about. Nothing to be embarrassed about. We don't get embarrassed when we go to the doctor. Anybody? All right. Wanted to give you a fair chance. ¿Qué otras áreas de tu vida? What areas of your life you need discipline? Father, help the young people. Ayúdales, por favor, tener humildad, to practice discipline, separarse del pecado, whatever area in their life. The music, oh, that's huge. Music, friends, influences, all of these things that are going to hold them back. They're going to hold them back. Brother Carlos, you'll come. Thank you, Jóvenes, for listening. Keep your eyes closed, heads bowed. Brother Carlos is coming.